Now, because he's never been around man before, everything we do with him, he's gonna be frightened of. Wild Brumbies can jump pretty high. I'm gonna pressure him here, and then leave him alone over there. We had Balin ship over one of my round pens all the way from the States for that reason right there. Later on, when I get a halter on him, I'm gonna be able to shut his feet down, and that'll be the third area that we'll use to control his mind. He's kind of found a spot up here against the fence that he's wanting to stand still. So anytime a horse will offer me something kind of good, I'll go with it. Okay, now I gotta be a little careful here, but you know, when he touches me, he might overreact and strike at me or rear up in the air or defend himself.
Down Under Horsemanship's Australian Outback Adventure is brought to you by Ritchie Industries. Fresh water for life.
I'm Clinton Anderson, and I have a method for training horses. Getting horses to behave is simple. It's training people that's the real trick. Join me as I tackle some of the most challenging situations with problem horses and with problem owners.
If I find a spot where he wants to stand, get ready, right there. My glove just touched him right there. That's the first touch from human hands he's had on him. Good boy. The most important thing I stress to people when working with a wild horse is the first touch. If the first touch goes well and you can build the horse's confidence, usually things go pretty good from that point forward. So use approach and retreat until you can eventually build his confidence and get that hand on him and start building more confidence. I'm gonna take my stick and use my stick here to get a first touch on him a little bit better. I can take my string off, take the bag off, and use this as a better extension of my arm. Now, there are some horses where they're just so frightened of you and they have a lack of confidence that you can't quite get your hand on them straight off the beginning, okay? So what I do is I'll use my stick as an extension of my hand. Instead of me getting so close to him, kind of use the stick a little bit here. There, when he keeps his head still, let him smell a little bit. By using the stick, where I can rub the horse with the stick, me and my body is actually further away, like my hand is further away from the horse when I'm rubbing the horse with the stick. As I start to get the horse used to be in touch with an object, then I can slide my hand further and further up the stick until eventually I'm rubbing him with my finger or my hand. Two eyes, please. I'm just rubbing him here with this stick. It's just an extension of my hand, my arm. Instead of getting so close to him where he feels too threatened, I can just use this. Two eyes. Oh, that's a good one. See him lick his lips right there? Now I'll back right away. Okay, and come back in again. Go back into his rear end. There. So he kept his head still there. Take it away. Now I'll go back to his rear end. Loosen that hindquarters up. Now spiral away from him. Work on my leading a little bit. There's this little step there. And come back and rub him again. So even though my hand's not touching him, it really is. The stick's an extension of my hand. I'm rubbing him. Good boy, you did a great job now. Now I'm gonna retreat. Go back to his rear end. Now see there how he stepped forward? Anytime he steps forward like that, I keep walking away. See how I'm kind of walking away in a circle? I'm trying to get those feet loosened up. The whole key to getting a horse to lead that's never been taught that before is to yield the hindquarters. Get the hindquarters loosened up. Then I rub him. Now what you're gonna notice me starting to do here is I'm gonna start running my hand up the stick a little bit. So I'm actually going to get closer to him here as time goes on. Okay. Loosen up the rear end. So, I'm gonna have to put this back around his neck again. This is where I really wish I hadn't missed that rope and got that around his neck better. Because I could be, when he doesn't come forward, I could tighten that rope up around his neck. I can feel a little more pressure. There's a good place to retreat. So it's kind of a little bit boring right now, but it's real crucial that this goes well because this is his first interaction with people, with pressure. I need to make sure, oh, I like that one. Now I would have retreated then when he licked his lips, except he took a step backwards. Good boy. And retreat.
Tired of dumping and scrubbing dirty buckets and tanks? Dread breaking ice this winter? Sick of wasting precious water and even more precious time? Then it's time to change the way you water. The industry leaders in horse products and watering have teamed up to bring you a fresh idea on watering. Introducing Classic Equine by Ritchie. Fresh water on demand is critical to horse health. Automatic waterers ensure it stays cleaner, so your horses drink more and you waste less. So kick the bucket and the tank when you choose from options such as multi-head heated and insulated pasture units to premium corner-mounted stall founds. And only Classic Equine by Ritchie offers a garden hose hookup unit for easy installation. Classic Equine by Ritchie makes automatic watering the only way to go for the ease of horse owners and the health of the horse.
Retreat. Notice every time my hand goes up, okay, he's seeing that hand move there, isn't he? He's seeing that hand go up and down. So it's kind of like I'm rubbing him with my own hand, except my index finger's real long right now. Now notice that I'm standing to the side of him just a little bit here too. I'm not standing directly in front of him here, okay? Now with him, I'm standing on his good eye. Normally I'd be a little bit more on their left eye because that's the side I got to get the halter on. But with him, being that he can't see real good out of that left eye, I don't want to get on that side when I first get up to him in case I startle him or he can't see me where he might strike or go to kick me. I think the most important technique to use when you're trying to get your hands on a wild horse is approach and retreat. Let's see if we can get rid of the stick. But notice I'm going to practice like I got the stick. Nothing's changed. It's important that when you get up to him, you don't do what I call the oh and you start doing this. Oh, don't do anything to me. You got to be relaxed. Okay, just even though you got to have your wits about you, you don't want to be sneaking around him. Okay? Don't want to be sneaking. See how I'm moving my hand here? I'm not taking this pressure away until he stands. Not taking it away until he stands. Just keep this hand moving. Keep this hand moving. It doesn't matter where you move your hand really, as long as it's moving. Now get ready. He's thinking about stopping here. There, when he kept his head still and his feet still, I retreated. That's it. So a little bit of tedious rock work going on right now, but it's kind of important. Keep your hand moving. Keep your hand moving. There, when he relaxes, retreat. Approach means you're approaching the horse, whether it's with your hand, the stick, the lead rope, the plastic bag, whatever tool you're using. And then retreat is taking that pressure away. So when you do approach, you are pressuring him to some degree. Right, if he wants to back up too much, I might have to go back and move his feet around again. One of the greatest assets you can learn as a horseman is learn to turn a negative into a positive. Meaning that when Bundy was backing up away from me, I just started yielding his hindquarters and redirecting his feet somewhere else. Take the negative energy of him backing up and do something successful with it or positive with it and redirect it somewhere else.
Even though I don't have a halter on him, I can still practice my groundwork. Do a little lunge in stage 1. Come on, let's go move these feet around, buddy. You don't want to stand still? Let's move these feet. Remember, you can control the horse's mind by creating movement and redirecting it. 2 eyes. There we go. Yield. Yield. Move him around. Yield. 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 Drive him away. Yield. Yield. Shut. Don't you do that. Yield. See, this is where a loop around his neck would be a lot better. Got to get used to that pressure across his face there a little bit. So I'm going to go with this. There we go. Now we're both looking for a little bit of rest right here. Might have to rub his imaginary head if I lose a little bit of ground. Don't worry about his head. Imagine his head's real big. And I'm just rubbing that part. I'm rubbing his head right now, but it's real huge. Just trying to find that starting point. Lost a little bit of ground, and sometimes that'll happen to you. You just kind of rebuild it. So what I'm going to do here is change it up a little bit. I'm kind of running out of daylight a little bit, so I'm going to get another rope and get around his neck here.
Create the ultimate training conditions with the Clinton Anderson Signature Series from Balin Country. The Patience Pole, conceived and designed by Clinton to teach patience and respect while protecting both horse and handler. Made with an industrial-grade bearing that never requires lubrication, the poles are attractive and require virtually no upkeep. Get the Clinton Anderson Signature Series from Balin Country. There is no other like it.
Down Under Horsemanship's Australian Outback Adventure is brought to you by Ritchie Industries. Fresh water for life.
Rightio. So what I did now is I just put another rope around his neck to get a little leverage on him. There, I love that, him leading there. So when he goes to turn away from me, I'm going to worry about that rope slipping off his neck. That's the boy. Because it's getting dark here soon, so I want to get these ropes off him. So to do that, I've got to get up to him. So what I'm going to do here is just start approaching and retreating. And I'm going to put this rope over the side of his nose like that. Okay? That way when he goes to turn, okay, I might be able to tip that nose a little bit towards me more, like that. just like that there. That's a boy. Just get him used to a little bit of that. He's got to get used to that pressure over his nose here. And what I want to do is just kind of ease my way down his neck here a little bit. Anytime I can, I want to loosen that rope up around his neck. Kind of doesn't like my hand going up above his eye. You know, he's got that big cataract on his eye. I bet he's been in a lot of fights. The other stallions, he's got some battle scars here. So it's going to take a little while to build his trust. But anytime I can get up to him here and loosen that rope up around his neck, I want to do that. That's my boy. Now just keep working my way down, approaching, retreating. That's a boy. Okay. That's a boy. Right, that's what I needed to do there, is just get that rope off him there. I'll just pull this one through and now we're in business.
Now, once I got the rope around Bundy's neck, like the lariat around his throat, I could do a lot more leverage with him. Basically, I could make him feel more uncomfortable if he turned his head away from me and didn't give me two eyes, okay? Until I really got that, he had me a little bit where he could kind of maneuver around me. But I could approach, and if he went to turn away, I could pull on the rope, it'll tighten around his neck, make him feel uncomfortable. As soon as he gave me two eyes and relaxed, I could release the rope, which obviously released the pressure.
That's what I'm looking for there. Every time he lets me up here, I loosen this rope up here. That's my boy, right there. Good boy. Let's work on this other side here. Okay. New sights and new brain, so he's going to be a little different about it. Okay. My method works real good on horses. It does not work on women, camels, or kids. That's it. So I'm just going to approach and retreat a few times. This is a perfect place to quit him for the day. So now I'm just going to practice walking up to him here. Remember, horses like arcs. They don't like straight lines, but I walk straight up to him just then because I want to show him I can walk up to you and I'm not going to hurt you. I'm just going to love on you, rub on you a little bit. That's my boy. And then retreat. And then come back again. Every time I approach him and I don't hurt him, it builds his confidence. Loosen this rope up around his neck. Because I got to get two hands up here tomorrow, put that halter on. So see how I'm getting him used to both my hands being up here? Because I got to tie that halter off. So I might as well be practicing that now a little bit. See how he says, I've seen one hand, but I haven't seen two up there before. Okay. Let's work on the other side and then we're going to quit him. Whatever you do on one side of your horse, you got to do on the other. I'm going to get this around his nose here, in case he takes his eye away from me, head away from me. Got a little leverage on him. Good boy. You want to get quiet. We better name you pretty soon, hadn't we? Good boy. Rightio. This is a great place to quit him for the day. He's relaxed. He's not breathing heavy. He's let me walk up to him here and rub him. Okay, he's got used to that pressure around his nose. Hey, you're licking your lips. Good boy. Rightio. And when I leave him, it's real important that I leave him. I don't want him to leave me. Okay, I love that. See him just smell me just then? That's great. That's him getting inquisitive. Okay? Love that. So when I take this off, I'm not going to give him an opportunity to run away from me. I want to leave him. So what we'll do is we'll put a couple of buckets of water in the round pen for him, some hay tonight, and he's going to live here tonight. And we'll start again tomorrow. He spent 10 years in the Outback. This is his first touch from human contact, and so far I think he's doing damn awesome. Really good boy. Okay? I'm just going to take my time getting this off his head. I don't want to scare him here. I always tell people it's very important to quit a training session on a good note or on a positive note, but it's especially important with a wild Brumby or Mustang, because how you finish that lesson is going to have a lot to do with how you start the next one. Good boy. See that? Him licking his lips there? I love that. See him smelling me? So now's the perfect opportunity to leave him. What a good boy. Hey, I'll see you tomorrow, big fella.
We'll be right back with more from the Australian Outback, presented by Ritchie Industries.
Areas of the Great Red Center are still wild and untamed like the American Old West. It takes a special individual to want to put down roots and raise a family in this incredibly harsh environment. Ian and Lynn Conway have that pioneer spirit. And through hard work and ambition, created Kings Creek Station from nothing.
My background is I was born in Alice Springs to a part Aboriginal mother and a part Aboriginal father. My father was born at the old telegraph station in Alice Springs, which was a repeater station, and my mother was born where the town is now. She was born under a tree there because there was very little in the way of hospitals in those days. Well, the grandfather on my mother's side wandered this country. If you look just behind me once again down that mountain range there, he walked down there with camels mostly, but also on horseback as well. And that was around about 1907, so over 100 years ago, my grandfather wandered down this valley here, and he lived about, from here about 25 miles away in a cave. And he lived there for 2 years. Now, the reason he lived in that cave was that he was unsure of what reception he would get from Aboriginal people, so he had to have his back to the wall, so to speak. Also, at the bottom of that cave was a watering point, so he was able to access water straight out of that into his cave. And he lived there for 2 years before he befriended the Aboriginal people of this area, and he was able to build a little log cabin a bit further down the track.
When I met Ian in Alice Springs, I'd left home when I was 17, and we met because he came in the office to see everybody and because everybody knew everybody in those days. And so we were married in 1974, married in Alice Springs, and he's a bit of an adventurer. So he looked further afield and saw that this land we're on had come up for lease, so he applied for it.
In the beginning, I won the lease, and the lease was only a 20-year lease.
And during that time, he and another mate of his had been catching camels, and they used to come out into this area. And Ian's uncle actually owned the neighbouring station, Angus Down.
Initially, Lynn and I came out here. Lynn arrived here on the 1st of January 1981. I'd been here previous to that. We had no running water, no electricity, no communication, and, things were pretty tough. No buildings, no roads.
He just said this day, well, we'll set up out there. And I said, but what are we going to do? And he said, well, I can catch camels, I can do anything. And I said, oh, okay. So people asked me why I went out bush, and I said it was for Ian's dream and it was my nightmare.
Yeah, so I saw the opportunity once I'd got this contract with this American buyer to make some money. And really that was the first influx of any cash that came into Kings Creek Station, because in the meantime we'd gone broke. It was really difficult, and Lynn had to go back into town with their first 2 children and live in Alice Springs and work best she could.
From there on we sort of got going, and then on one of Ian's very, very rare trips to Alice Springs I happened to get pregnant with our 3rd child. So I thought, well, I can't really work and live by myself. I decided, I suppose, to come back here to see what we could do. And by this stage, Ian had decided to put a campground in. And he was mustering camels still, and camels really started us off. The camels were a very big part of our early life, and it was pretty tough. I mean, I'd come from I really had never camped in my life. I was more a city girl, coming from a city, so it was fairly tough, and with 2 young children. But the one thing I missed more than anything was a washing machine.
My wife, Lynn, is one of the most amazing women in the world. She not only brought up 3 children out here, she put up with no electricity, no water. She had no washing machine. Well, actually, she did have a washing machine, but we had no electricity to run it initially. It was just an old Ringer-type washing machine.
When I came out here, I had to sort of learn a different way, because you had to do without. If you'd run out of something, you just couldn't go down the shop.
When I was sick, she looked after me. And when I came home, there was always a hot meal, whether she had to knock it up out of nothing or whatever. So she's the hero. And she's not the only one. Most women of the Outback are the same. And if you look back in history of the development of cattle stations, particularly in this region, the hero women that were in this part of the world were Aboriginal women, because most white men came out here without their wives. No matter which way you look at it, the women are the ones who keep the family home together. They're the cooks, they're the first aiders, they're the business minds that keep everything going. Really, the men are just the workers that go outside, but we are supported so well by the women folk, and quite often they don't get any accolades for what they do.
Well, that was actually the first thing we did when we came out here, was put in the airstrip. I thought it was very, very, very important with the children. If they did get sick and we did need to get evacuated, we had the airstrip there. So Ian drove the Toyota. We had a piece of old railway iron, and the children and I actually cleared it as he drove along, took all the stumps out.
People often look at the man as the hero, but really the women are the heroes of this country, like they were in the Wild West, simply because they were the ones who bore most of the brunt of everything.
The airstrip was mainly used for the whole area, and it was a lot of Aboriginal people very sick or road accidents, and that was very horrific because there was no medical centre, so I was it.
What brought me here, it was that possibility of being able to live in an isolated area, to develop something that I could be proud of, to be close with nature the whole time, and to bring up my children in an environment which was safe, that they had every day they could experience new things, and they have.
The bush itself, the colours, the changing of the colours, you know, it never ceases to amaze me, and the peace, you know. I feel safe. I feel very safe. This is home.
Hi, I'm with Ritchie Industries. I'm here to tell you today about a product that we're adding to our stall fount line. It's a corner mount product designed similar to our line of Omni founts and Eco founts. Similar in design, that it has a stainless steel trough with a poly insulated base. The units can be heated or non-heated. The heated units have a 125 watt heater and a thermostat that you can adjust to raise or lower your temperature in the trough. The units are designed very safe. Your animals can't really chew on it or rub on it or scratch on it. The lid comes off with just a quarter turn and snaps. You can hear it snap. Open your lid up, float like they have all the other units. Simple little wing nut to adjust the level of the water. There's a plug for draining, very simple again. Swish the water around, rub the edges down, pull the plug, drains out the bottom. Put the lid back on, again just line it up, quarter turn, snap right in place. Down below here we have our shroud for the unit. It's designed to cover the water line coming up through the ground. In addition to the shroud, we've designed a step in to place your bucket.
The people who are using these waterers really like the look of it. They like how durable they are, and they like that they're very easy to clean.
Find out more about our stall fountain 2 or any other Ritchie products, go to ritchiefountain.com or ritchieequine.com.
Down Under Horsemanship's Australian Outback Adventure is brought to you by Ritchie Industries. Fresh water for life.
So today's the second day we're going to walk with our wild Brumby. I felt like we got a lot accomplished yesterday. We got the lariat on him, we got him leading a little bit, we got him giving us 2 eyes, we got him rubbed all over the face, etc. Today, what I'd like to try to do is get him caught, get the halter and lead rope on, start getting him to yield his feet better, start to get him to lead better. If we've got enough time, we'll get the saddle on him today, but we'll just keep progressing through the method. So every day we're going to start out with the round penning to make sure we can move his feet. Remember, 3 ways you control a horse's mind: by creative movement, by redirecting movement, and then by inhibiting movement. So we're going to continue on with the challenge like we started yesterday. So I don't want him to come in, I don't want to come into the round pen and put a lot of pressure on him every day, because I don't want him to think every time I come in here I'm going to chase him away from me. I'm just going to do this for the first 2 or 3 days just to make sure that I can move his feet out. So I'm going to step in front, now back, back, step to the side, and have him change directions. So I'm going to change directions. I'm going to step out in front, then backwards, step to the side, move him on. Get those feet moving. Change directions, step back. Step in front, back. Okay, now I want to put a rope on him. Teaching my horses the round pen, as you know, is very important in the method. But especially with a young horse or a wild horse like in Bundy's case, I don't want the horse to think that every time I step into the round pen, I'm going to chase him around. See if I can't get him to hook up a little bit. Yield that hindquarters, I like that. See him following me there, that's good. Righto, 2 eyes, that's the boy. 2 eyes. So now I just go back to what I was doing yesterday. Just building his confidence. Now right then he just kind of stepped forward. So I kind of went with him a little bit. Okay. Anytime there. See that right there? Anytime he steps forward like that, I want to reward that behavior. So I got to rebuild his confidence. Get my hands back on him again, so I'm just rubbing his real big head here, imaginary head. Just find a starting point. Find a starting point. There, when he relaxes, go back into his rear end again. Okay. Yield the hindquarters and spiral out. A little bit of pressure on this rope now. Trying to get him to, that's the boy. Come off that rope a little bit, there we go. Every time he comes forward, I go back and rub on him a little bit here, but I'm not out to get him. I'm gonna try a little different tactic with him here. It's kind of like sticky head, just wherever his head goes, my hand goes. There, when he relaxes, take it away. Every day you should just start leading a little bit better. So if I have to help him a little bit here, I'll help him with the stick here. Just take my string off my stick, It's pretty normal in the beginning to lose a little bit of ground overnight, so to speak. So let's just say, in session 1, we finished with me rubbing my hands all over Bundy's face. And then he had 12 hours off. The next day we came back and he was a little bit suspicious about human beings again. So I had to rebuild his confidence, get him to use the thinking side of his brain. So I had to go back to the stick and rub his face with the stick and then slowly run my hand up the stick until I could get my hand all over his face. Don't worry too much about that. In the first 4 or 5 days when working with a wild horse, you'll never start the next day exactly like, let's say you finish like this on Monday, okay, to this level. Tuesday, in theory, you'd like to start here and move ahead, but often you'll start a little bit below that. So by the end of the second session or Tuesday, you make more progress. And then Wednesday, you'll start behind it again. So don't let that worry you too much if you have to rebuild a little bit for the first 10, 20 minutes of working with them. And then, because after that, you'll make a lot more progress. Now I'm working my way back up to where he didn't like it, in the middle of his eyes. And then retreat and go back here. Get this rope up over his nose here a little bit. That's a boy. So now we're almost back to where we were yesterday. Not quite, but close. That's a boy. Okay. Anytime he does something good, I want to loosen that rope off around his neck. See how I ran that hand over that ear? That's getting better with that. Now let's change to the other side. Notice how I got that hand up over his nose here a little bit so I can tip that nose a little bit towards me. New side, new brain, remember. New eye, so I gotta just take my time here. That's a boy. Right, let's go back to this side and we'll get this halter out of here pretty soon. Before I get that halter up there, I gotta get him kind of used to both hands going up here because I gotta tie it off. So I'm gonna kind of pretend I got something in my hand. These wild horses notice every small little change. Every small little change. I kind of stay away from the end of their nose a little bit initially, okay? Because they can get a little hawky, a little bit funny about you touching the end of their nose. So I don't really head for that much in the beginning. Good boy.
Are you frustrated with your horse's lack of discipline or struggling with his lack of experience? Do you suffer from the lack of time it takes to turn the horse you have into the horse you really want? Well, there's a method for that madness. Send him to the Clinton Anderson Academy, and we'll turn your horse into an Academy horse. The Academy trains only the best horsemen to share Clinton's methods with horse owners around the world as Clinton Anderson certified clinicians. Just as these top trainers enroll in the Academy, so can your horse. During the 6-week course, he will learn the entire fundamentals level of the method to be ridden in and comfortable with a full gamut of situations. At the Clinton Anderson Academy, we have the time, the experience, and the best training method to help you discover your horse's true potential. So stop the madness. Turn your horse into an Academy horse.
So now I've walked up to him with a different piece of equipment. So instead of trying to get this on him straight away, I'm just gonna lay it over my arm here, okay, and just kind of let him get used to seeing it on my arm a little bit here. Again, they notice every small change. They notice every small change. Okay. If you introduce a new piece of equipment, they're gonna know it straight away.
So I just want to start rubbing this halter on him here a little bit. Easy, big fella. Easy, big fella. Hey, hey, hey. Okay. Just find a starting point. If he likes it better on his chin, I'll start there. Easy, big fella. Then retreat. Easy, big fella. That's my boy. Then retreat. You're just trying to find a place where you can start rubbing something new on him. I might pull him off balance here a little bit just to remind him that I got control of his feet. You're all right, big fella. If he wants to smell it a little bit, let him smell it. Let's start rubbing him on here. That's it, boy. He's gonna realize this halter is not out to get him. It's not out to harm him. It's kind of crucial that this goes well, because if you screw up this part, getting the halter on them, and they get away from you a few times, they can get kind of difficult about getting that halter on.
The next really crucial part is getting the halter on. Because once you get the halter on, you get a lot more leverage on the horse. It's much easier to pull him off balance. It's much easier to get control of his feet. But to get the halter on, okay, if that experience goes badly, it can really put you in a bad position.
Got to be a little careful it doesn't get under his jaw or he might strike at it. But I'm just getting him used to this, going up over his ears here. Letting him get used to wearing this a little bit here. So instead of using the rope, I'll use the halter here. Just kind of tip his nose back towards me with this. That's a big fella. That's it. Real cautious here, I take my time here. This is a very vulnerable spot right here. So I'm just gonna get that halter done up. I don't give a rat's how tight it is, I just wanna get it on. Good boy. Hey, see him licking his lips? That wasn't too bad, was it? You wild thing. Coming along, aren't you? Okay. That's the boy. So now I can go ahead and tighten it up a little bit because I don't want it to come off now. It's real important this doesn't come off. Hey, that wasn't too bad, was it, big fella? So now I'm gonna go put my long line on, which is a 23-foot rope, where it gives me room to work with him. If he gets scared and tries to run away from me, which he will, I don't wanna have my short 14-foot lead rope get jerked out of my hand. Okay, that's it, boy. Snap this on, just take my time. You don't want to be in a hurry here. Now, he's never felt a halter on his face here, so I'm not going to go pull on this when I'm real close to him, because he might rear up and strike out at that feeling. Okay? So when I do go and pull on it, I want to be a further distance away from him, because just like the first time we pulled on that lariat, he kind of jumped in the air, didn't he, and reared up and, you know, got upset about it. He's going to do the same type of thing with this halter around his face, probably. He may not, but good chance he will.
Down Under Horsemanship's Australian Outback Adventure has been brought to you by Ritchie Industries. Fresh water for life.
Okay, mate, it's day 2 of a challenge, and we're continuing on our training. So we finally decided to name him, and we're gonna call him Bundy, which is short for Bundaberg Rum. Because during the day, we're chasing wild horses around the outback, taming them, showing them the method. At night time, we drink Bundaberg rum, which is Australia's most famous rum. In America, I drink Captain Morgan. In Australia, I like to drink Bundaberg rum. How I was conceived on it. My parents never would have got together without it, okay? So we're just gonna call him Bundy. Good boy. It's gonna make their lives a lot easier, which is obviously why we're out here. We're trying to change their lives.
That's correct.
I'm just making complete shit up. Okay, I'm ashamed of myself. I really am. If I wasn't going to that field to be. Enough talking about Richie. Let's get out there and capture some more wild Brumbies and start training them and get out in the middle of the Outback.
All right, let's
Look
do
out
it.
for yourself, mate.
Can we do that one more time? Because Leon left you hanging with a handshake.
I was going to shake your hand. He just walked off.